Hi, everybody. Running a little bit late. You'll have to excuse me for just a minute so I can hop on this thing. Running a little bit late. I was just over at Starbucks trying to get this video uploaded. Just calling out old pseudo Simon Dan about this upcoming experiment that's going to be taking place out in England. See if he'll show up to that thing. So let me open this up, get in the chat, say what's up. All right. All right, Miss Griffin, how you doing? All right. K Sism, what's happening? Ebon Kim, Armored Up. Effie Mary. What's up, Zach? How you doing, man? Manny Pinocchio, I see you. All right. Okay. Jackie Lewis, how are you? Welcome to the party. Let me pull this thing over here. Yeah, man. Just trying to get everything set up in here. Cool. Not a whole lot going on. Gianluca Ruffo. What up? All right. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I doubt he'll show up too, Zach. Seriously, he calls himself Simon Dan, but I think that's just by name, not so much by principle. We'll see. Gartrell McKinney, what's happening? What's good, Nemo? Out here in the mystery machine. All right, what's up, Yogi's Beer? What up, Gerard, Todd Jensen, Effie Mowry, what's good? Sheldon, Todd, what's up? What's up? All right, let me turn this down. Okay. All right, folks. Well, we're here. This is another Flat Earth Friday wrap up, and I suppose I'll be taking some suggestions from the audience because I got nothing going on. Oh wait, there's that one thing I did hear about China supposedly growing some plants on the dark side of the moon. Was it dark side of the moon or was it like the other side? Yeah, you heard about that one?
Man, let me find out. Let me find out. Well,
Oh,
the Japanese, did they actually put a man on the moon, or did they put a machine on the moon?
let me see. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to pull that up. We're gonna have to pull that up, man.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
pull it up.
China saying that one they supposedly landed on the dark side of the moon. There
Right.
was yeah there
But was
was
it a human being or was it a rover?
I think it was a rover.
Right.
I gotta try to pull this up. Let me see. I
I'm
don't
going,
even
I'm
know.
going to,
Man, my Safari is not even working. Man, I couldn't pull up a video if I wanted to. Now, shoot, I'm toast. I'm dead in the water out here. Yeah, let me see. Jackie Lewis says it was a rover, but
so
yeah.
so they didn't have the balls to fake it with with people.
Oh no, man, they're not gonna be doing that. But I
Hmm.
was watching a video from another YouTuber earlier today, and he was going over some of the details about NASA's supposed to be ramping up. Let me see. I believe there was an article saying that they were supposed to be going back to the moon and on to Mars. Like everybody wants to just skip over the moon and go straight to Mars for some reason or another. I'm thinking that they don't want to go to the moon again because people now have that P1000 with the 125 times zoom on it. So I think that because people be zooming in on the moon, like, okay, so where are they at? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nah, they can talk that mess all they want, but we put a man on the moon 6 times. They can't do it once.
Oh no, man. I don't think they're ready for that. They're just testing out the rovers and all that just to see, if it's safe to put people up there, man.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
I mean Chinese people, that is.
Right.
Because apparently, Americans, we can send people to the moon 6 times, have no problem. And
But we used to. We used to. We can't no more.
oh yeah, because they destroy the technology, and it's a pretty painful process to build it.
Exactly. I'm
Good
trying to
lord,
share
man.
the video.
Yeah. Um, let me see. What was I? Let me see if I can pull this up on a laptop. I probably can't, man. Um, uh, so I got some news. I got some news this week. So there's a comedian goes by name Kev on stage. A lot of people watch his stuff. Actually, we used to hang out. He's from Washington, or at least he was here, some years back. We used to go to the same church, actually. Strangely enough, he's gonna have me on his show. Um, it's going to be starting in February. It's titled Ask A. And he's going to have me on his show for the segment Ask a Flat Earther. So I'll be going to LA next weekend.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, man.
So, so this show gonna be flat earth friendly, or?
I seriously hope so. I really hope so. Well, I mean, we've been back and forth a little bit. I mean, like I said, we used to hang out back in the day, and I mean, he's been grinding on his comedy thing for a long time, and I think you know, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. And even if it is kind of a jokey joke type of things, and I mean, I'm gonna be brushing up on my flat Earth stuff,
Right.
over the next week or so. So I mean, you know, I'll stay back on topic as best I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
it ought to be. I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
have
gonna.
to go. I'm gonna have to go out and come back because, like, everything on my computer system here is locked up. I tried to share that moon mission stuff, and it's just locked up. So I'm gonna go out and come right back.
Okay, I might have to do the same thing too, cause I was trying to pull up Safari a second ago so I can share my screen. I got nothing, but yeah, man, do your thing. But yeah, y'all. Yeah, that's the deal. I'm gonna be hooking up with Kev on stage next weekend. Flying out to LA to hang out with him. Shout out to Kev on stage, man. Really appreciate the opportunity. Um, yeah, my man's got a large following. I checked it out. He's got, I want to say, somewhere around 487,000 subscribers on YouTube, well over 500,000 followers on Instagram. And, this is going to be some good exposure for Flat Earth if I can get this right. So I'll be, doing my best to represent for the community. It'll be good times. It'll be good times. Um, let me see. I want to. Well, let me see. So other recent stuff going on. I wanted to get out and do some activism this weekend. I really did. I checked the forecast, and it's going to be raining through like next Wednesday in Tacoma and Seattle. I was considering going out to Pioneer Square because when I went out and did the underground tour in Seattle a couple weeks ago, I walked past Pioneer Square. I see some guys out there. It was some guys out there had a ping pong table set up. It was a couple other little groups formed out there. It was just people out there hanging out, and it seemed like um, a good situation where you could just get out and mingle with the people. And I was thinking about some places in Tacoma. I hadn't really gotten out and done the legwork to find a place, but I believe that Pioneer Square in Seattle will be a good place to do some activism. And no, I'm not from Seattle. I'm from North Little Rock, Arkansas, actually. Um, but I've been in Washington for so long, I might as well be from here. I've spent half my life in Washington. Actually, I was in the Army for 8 years. I deployed to Iraq, came back, got out in 2008. I've been here ever since. Basically, yeah, coming up on 18 years. I'll have been in Washington. So that's what's up. All right, we got Vegan Warrior back with the visuals.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm good.
All right,
All
cool.
right. Share my screen here.
Yeah, man. All right, you got it. But yeah, China's growing growing produce on the moon, sir.
Right.
I know.
All right. Let me see.
Yeah.
You see my screen, right?
Yeah, I got you. You're all locked in.
All right. Cool.
The better the piano, the worse the space propaganda. So this doesn't bode well for the claims being made here by the Chinese space industry, because this is a cracking bit of piano.
This Terra Times channel. So no people, they supposedly sent machines. I guess it really ain't nothing to listen to with that funky music.
Yeah, that was Moonlight Sonata. That's my jam.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, look at all of this. Is this real?
I'm sorry. Is this supposed to be real? I thought we were just watching a simulation of what's supposed to be going on.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is, but they're passing it off as real.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, yeah. They got the room full of people looking at monitors like they NASA.
Right.
They got the whole nine.
Oh man.
You're moving so slow. Okay, he must be talking.
And a couple of dots traveling along that line. That's all they've got to base and make some of the most important decisions going. They base it purely off a few numbers and a dot traveling along a line.
So people like really believe this is real out here, and they got the graphics going real time and all that.
Yep.
Wow.
All of this is real.
Oh man.
That is supposed to be real right there.
Some authentic propaganda here.
Yeah. Look at this approach. Euro News.
Mm. Okay, so how did this thing catch up with the moon while it's moving what 2,300 miles per hour again?
That's a very good question.
I mean, because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. I mean, it would have had to not only leave Earth, it would have had to travel through space 239,000 miles, but it also would have had to catch up to the moon. And then it would have had to slow down its approach for descent to a degree to where it wouldn't have completely crashed and destroyed itself upon impact.
You know what I don't understand? If you got impact craters, where are the things that created the craters?
That's a good question.
You know, like you know how they always say the Grand Canyon was created by an asteroid or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the thing that made the hole?
I wonder the same thing.
Oh wow, they just touched down.
I mean, did you see any reverse thrusters going on right there?
It just said boom.
Dunk. All right, we're good. No problem.
Wow. Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's the reverse thrusters. Oh, okay.
Ah,
Or is this just another simulation? Oh no, they're are they applauding? Are they like,
yeah, they are.
oh, this is supposed to be real? Oh wow,
That's what they think. The new
that's
China.
that's beautiful, man. Good
It's
Lord,
crazy.
China.
Yeah. So they tell you. See, that's how deep the deception goes. You know, it's not just. See, a lot of people think it's credible because it's not just us. It's other countries also doing this deception, and that's one of the arguments that the globe earthers put out there. Well, all the countries, we know that all the countries don't work together, so why would they all tell the same lie? I say they all do work together.
Yeah, I mean, what's the G20 summit? What's that about? Isn't that when
Yeah.
all the leaders of the countries from across the plane all get together to, shake hands and make policy and all that good stuff? I mean,
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
I mean, can people really not imagine the concept of a large group of people, especially this day and age, being able to get in contact with each other to plan some stuff? Like what?
And Jaron had a really interesting theory. He basically says that all these guys in mission control, all their data is coming from a server, and that server is sending digital information, feeding it to those people that think that this event is really happening. And because everything is in a computer and is based in math and is based on computer programming, you can pour anything in that computer and tell these people anything and they'll believe it because they think it's happening in real time because they're banking on the data coming back to them. So all you do is you send you have mission control, which is probably the real people, and then you have a server or some type of means to disseminate data back to mission control, and they believe it's happening real time when really they're just feeding information into a computer. And the crazy part that I think about this is everything is based on data. And because everything is based on data, whoever feeds the information into the computer can deceive all of NASA because they're basing everything on the data that they're getting from what they believe is the actual satellite, but it's actually coming from a server. And you remember the scientist, can't remember his name, black guy. He said that at our deepest, on the deepest level, when he analyzes the data, he finds ones and zeros. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that guy. He had glasses and a fro, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That guy probably did find that information because what he found was all the information that was fed to them from this particular server. And I'm not doing it no justice. Jaron explained it a lot cleaner. But the world is deceived based on the data that they're receiving. That's basically what was his point. And I never thought about it that way because when that guy said at the lowest molecular level is ones and zeros,
Right.
I never associated that with computer simulations being passed off as reality.
I
So
remember. I remember that. I remember that.
yeah, So if computer simulations are being passed off as reality, you're going to find at its lowest level ones and zeros.
True also.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep when you think about it. So what he did was he highlighted how the deception could be pulled off. Because everyone in mission control is sitting there just waiting for data or information to be brought onto their screens. What happens if you send them that data that they're expected to see? They assume the mission is successful.
True.
And
That's true.
if the mission is successful based on the data, they believe in reality it happened.
Like they just kind of reverse engineer everything, and then
Right.
you know, just okay, so we're going to look at what it is, and you know, feed these numbers into this computer and
Right.
tell everybody what they expect. So they're all just sitting there staring at the screen, like, "Yep, just like we thought." Give ourselves a big pat on the back. And yeah, the guy's name was Dr. James Gates.
Right. Right.
Oh.
That guy. So maybe he accidentally detected the deception. He says at the lowest molecular level of the universe is ones and zeros. That's what he claimed. And remember, he told Neil deGrasse Tyson that on stage.
Yep.
And Neil was like, hold on. Let me wrap my mind around this. You know,
Right.
I can't comprehend what you're saying. And that's where this idea of a computer simulated world comes from. We all live in a computer because this guy and people like him came up with the idea that at the lowest molecular level, we're nothing but ones and zeros in the universe. But the way they got that information was by analyzing data describing our universe. But if it's coming to them through some type of deceptive computer / server being fed as a satellite or as a I don't know, whatever means of them to collect data, if that's what they're relying on, they give the impression that mission control is connected to the satellite when really it's connected to a server that feeds them information. And I'm telling you, I've never heard anybody break this down before like that, except for Jaron. Jaron broke it down one time, and I sat there and I just like, that makes sense. Because they're not looking at anything in real time in mission control. All those people in mission control, all the people that's in NASA, they are believing this stuff is true because they're trained to analyze data. They're not trained to do anything else but analyze data. So they know, they mathematically come up with these concepts of how much fuel you need to get from point A to point B, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they monitor the fuel consumption. But what they're really monitoring is a simulated I don't know, rocket or satellite or something that they think is real, but actually is virtual in a server. So everything that those guys are looking at in mission control is virtual. That's the argument that Jaron put up, and I thought it was really interesting.
Right. I mean, that sounds about right. Basically that they're looking at the screen, and what they're seeing on the screen is, I mean, it's kind of like programming a video game.
Right.
But you're programming it so realistically that they're seeing it in real time, and at the same time they're being fed data from that server to show them, you know, what they're seeing on a screen mathematically. Right. And I mean, that just makes sense to substantiate what they already believe is, you know, it's virtual reality.
So they're giving them because think about it, before they do the moon mission, for example, or send up a satellite, they have to calculate it all out. They have to map it all out mathematically. And once they do that, that's when they get the confidence that they can pull it off. So they got real people working towards these ideas to put this stuff together and believing that it's possible. So without them even attempting to see if it's real or not, they feed them the information that they're most likely to see to give them the impression that they pulled it off. When really, it never left low Earth orbit, for example. So they think they're tracking the rocket, but they're really not tracking the rocket. The rocket takes off. Yeah, we see that in real time. It looks real. It's up in the sky. It reached a particular height. Everything is right. All systems are go. And somewhere in there, the computer takes over and starts feeding mission control information. And then the rocket disappears in the clouds. And now all they have is what the computer is feeding them.
Right.
Crazy.
And when they're seeing it and everything, as far as the data goes, is lining up with what they already believe. So,
right.
I mean, they're just looking at it like it's just another day at the office.
Exactly. Exactly. And then every now and then they throw a monkey wrench. You know, they make it seem like something's going wrong, and then they go into their corrective action and other options, and they try to tinker with things, thinking that they can change the computer simulation, or what they're doing is they're trying to modify the computer simulation, but it's not actually happening to the aircraft. It's happening in a computer. It's kind of like the whole concept of having a virtual computer. When you have a virtual computer, you don't have a physical computer. You just have something that mimics a computer.
Yeah.
So these space agencies are tracking virtual satellites and virtual aircraft.
It's like a flight simulator.
Exactly. That's probably the best way to look at it. And they don't know it.
Yeah, and that goes with something another flat Earth video I was watching. It's like when people make the assumption that there's so many people that's in on it. All these people. There's like 17,000 people working for NASA, and you're saying that all these people are in on it. No, not necessarily that they're all in on it. Because the fact of the matter is that they were already indoctrinated to believe that the globe was real before they got the job at NASA. I mean, they've been hearing about this stuff all their lives, just like the rest of us. And they made it to, that point in life where they actually, went through the schooling, the screening process or whatever, did the background checks in order to become a NASA employee.
Right.
And then once they get there, they already have the foregone conclusion that what they're doing is real. So they're not asking questions. They're not, these aren't like flat earthers, at the door saying, okay, so I'm just going to work at NASA and then we're going to, I know it's flat, but I'm going to continue deceiving people. No, not really. And then, like those departments are compartmentalized. Like people in this sector only need to know this. These folks over here need to know that. It's all on a need to know basis, and that they don't really I want to say cross pollinate, but I know that's not the word. I want to say fraternize. They don't pass off information like that.
Right.
I'm thinking it's something like that.
You're still dealing with a government agency, so I bet you they have top secret, confidential types of projects that one department doesn't know about that the other one's involved in. I'm sure they have it extremely compartmentalized. You don't ever really get to see the whole picture. I bet you a lot of guys on top don't even see the whole picture.
Yep.
Now, what makes this real to them is the fact that they're putting data in and they're getting feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And by them receiving feedback, therefore it's real. So the question would be, is that possible, number one, without them knowing it? And I think Jaron or somebody else I was watching, they actually had scientists that say, yeah, they could have faked it, but they didn't. You know, I'm like, if it could have been fake, how do you know it wasn't? You know?
Yeah.
This lady right here, and her title just caught my attention. She's Deputy Chief Commander and Designer. What is she designing?
Spacesuits, man. She's designing the spacesuits.
Are you sure?
I mean, you know, I mean, looking at the title, I'm looking at it like Deputy Chief. I mean, those two kind of cancel each other out, don't they? I'm saying
she's the chief when the real chief ain't around, huh?
I'm saying shouldn't there be like a chief commander and then she's like the deputy chief command? Well, never mind. I'm saying it's like deputy chief commander, or I don't know. It should be like deputy. Yeah, no, whatever, man. I see what it is.
They're passing this off as real. They don't even call this a simulation.
Man, I mean, this looks like a cartoon though.
No, that's the moon.
That's the moon. Are they? Is this supposed to be real right here? How quickly they're flying around this thing?
Oh yeah, this is real. All this is real.
Oh man, that's a nice little crater there.
We are concerned about the environment the rover faces.
Oh,
I bet you are.
Deputy designer.
Ah, okay.
What's he designing, vegan?
I don't know. Maybe. See, when I hear the word designer, I think of fashion or computers, or he's designer of the app or something.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be like designer. It should be like analyst. You know.
Yeah.
What do you mean designer? That means
that means he's a creator.
Yeah, that means that they're creating something. If you're designing something, you're creating something.
Yeah, that's why that word stood out to me. I'm like, hold up, a designer? What are you designing if you're in science? Or is that just our interpretation of what they call themselves? I don't know. Is that a language misspelling or something?
Oh
my. A designer? Designers don't work in science.
Nah, that works in the fashion industry, maybe the computer science industry, like trying to making up designing computer programs. Yeah, web design, web development, programming video games and things like that. You're not supposed to be working at the space agency. What's going on here? Designer? Yeah. Designers. That's awesome.
If you look at this animation, somebody had to design it.
Nah, man, this is supposed to be authentic. I mean, this is supposed to be real time. Authentic footage.
How grainy it is? Like, that's Japan, bruh. They make the best cameras in the world.
What I see right there, honestly, and I'm trying to unsee it, is this face that looks like the eyes are looking off to the right. It's kind of scared with the wide mouth open. You see that?
Yeah. Couple pimples on the face.
Yeah, that's the man on the moon. That's the man on the moon right there. He's looking like ah.
This is crazy. The Chinese are perpetuating the lie. The question is why? Why are they perpetuating the lie?
Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Let me see. Who came up with that? Was that? I'm wanting to say like L. Ron Hubbard has something to do with that. I could be wrong. Oh, never mind.
So this is how they do it, huh?
That's the landing system, just a parachute. They got a parachute big enough. Okay. And then they deploy balls. Calling it how I see it, man. Like what? These are our options. Oh, so you're just gonna drop it? Okay, and then you got okay.
All right, yeah.
Wow, this is the best y'all can come up with. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm
I get it.
telling you, TV is nothing but green screen now.
Man, that's hurting my feelings. And now it's starting to make a whole lot more sense to me since, I'm kind of playing with the green screen stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been doing this for years. Years. They've been doing green screen and blue screen.
Hey, well, wait a minute. Hey, vegan. Do other planets do other planets spin?
I've been asking that question and I haven't really got an answer, man. I mean, I think we're the only ones spinning. They say, I guess. And they say the moon spins. It rocks.
Wobbles and all that.
Yeah, it rocks, but we don't see it because it's daytime comes.
I'm saying they say the moon's like tidal locked. We only see that one side because of tidal locking is what they tell us.
Yeah, that's one hell of a lie.
All right. Carlos Pagan says yes, the other planets do spin. Okay. I don't know. I feel like we need to see some pictures of the different sides of these planets because what we see when we look at these other planets is typically the same side.
Right.
I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I got no problem with saying that. But
here's one for you. Does the sun spin?
Ooh. Ooh. You know what? That's not a bad one. But here's the thing. Yeah, I know Christina. but wait, what's going on here? What was the parachute stuck? Okay, never mind. So the question, like, does the sun spin? That's a good one. Now, considering that, I guess we would have to, like, there's folks that zoom in on the sun and they catch these little dark spots on there, right?
Right, but they come and go, right?
They're
not permanent.
Well, I haven't zoomed in on the sun. Honestly, I haven't done that. I may have to play more with my camera this year.
Well, I don't think it's but so much technology to do it, right? All you're gonna get is a lot of blur, right?
Well, I mean, if you put on the adequate solar filters, at least that's what somebody would. I'm sure somebody would tell me. I hear that a lot from the globe believers. You didn't use a solar filter on this and that. I'm like, all right. So, I guess with the proper solar filter, you could stare directly into the sun.
So the sun has a surface. Are they sure?
Yes, they're absolutely sure. Is me playing Globy right now.
So when you say surface, you mean like a hard surface, or?
I mean, it's more like a molten surface. That's why when we zoom in out in space, you can, see the solar flares and all that. That's why our atmosphere is filled with these electrical charges and all that. The solar flares. That causes issues to magnetism here on Earth from 93 million miles away. But when we zoom in on the sun with our superior space technology, yes, you can see the surface, and you have your more solid spots. Because it's like a nuclear reactor millions of explosions per second. So, I mean, it's really tough to pin down exactly what the surface of the sun is there, Mr. Vegan.
So if everything you said is true, you don't know if there's a surface or not.
Well, I mean, we know there's a surface because on the outside, I mean, I mean, the sun is a solid object, obviously, right? So, I mean, every solid object has to have a surface. I mean, because, dude, we sent a probe there a few months back. Don't you remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there was the what was it, the InSight? No, that was the one that went to Mars. I forget. It was the Parker solar probe. Yeah, that's what happened there. Yeah, that was the Parker solar probe.
Okay.
Sent that thing to the sun a few months back. It was awesome.
I'm just trying to wrap my mind around a solid surface that is hot as the sun. How can you have any type of surface that can handle that much heat?
Well, I mean,
not be liquefied or be a gas.
Well, I mean, you're not factoring in gravity. All right. The sun already has its, I mean, the size of the sun is so awesome that it has its own gravitational pull. It's pulling everything, back towards it. So, I mean, there's explosions, but they're constantly coming back towards the center of mass. And that's, what caused it to be a large, burning, molten, ball of light out there in the vacuum of space, where you would actually need oxygen in order to create explosions and all that. But let's not get into that.
Okay. So if the sun is pulling everything towards it, what's pulling the sun?
Oh, the trajectory of the sun. I mean, that was determined like 35 billion years ago. I mean, the Big Bang. I mean, come on, guy. Everybody knows that.
So the sun is still reacting to the Big Bang?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're all reacting to the Big Bang, but I mean, come on, you know this stuff. You know this stuff, Vegan. Come on. That's how the sun's moving through space. It was a result of the Big Bang from so long ago. And the sun's been on this constant path, and the Earth is just yeah.
Well, what's creating the vacuum?
Oh, well, I mean, space is already a vacuum. It was already a vacuum from the beginning, because, I mean, that's just where it all started, in the infinite vacuum of space.
The Big Bang didn't start the vacuum process?
No, it was already a vacuum. And then, I mean, all the matter that we perceive today, it started from something about the size of, a little larger than a ball bearing. And exploded out of that, and has been expanding ever since.
But Professor, you're confusing me. What created the vacuum?
No, the vacuum was already there.
How can it always be there? It has to come from something, right?
Well, I mean, it was the infinitude of space, sir. That's what space is. Space is the vacuum. And all there was this vacuum, and then there was this little ball-bearing size of matter. Because, I mean, most of the matter that we see around us right now, there's all this space in between it. And if all this matter were compressed, and all the space in the matter was, removed from the whole situation, then it would all compress back into about the size of marble. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I mean, that's what the experts say. Yeah.
So how does the experts know?
Because the math checks out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight up. Yep.
All righty then.
Gravity.
You know what? Let's take a shot at gravity. Like, let's define it.
Yes, please. Am I still the globe? Am I still the Globey? Is that?
Oh yeah, you're the professor.
God dang! All right, let's go.
what exactly is gravity?
I have no idea. Next question. Okay. So the thing is, you know, we can measure with it. We can define things with it. We can test its effects upon other things out in the field. But as far as what it is, I I really don't know.
Mm,
I guess Einstein, in an Einsteinian sort of way, would say that gravity is best defined as the curvature of space-time.
okay,
That's about the best answer I could come up with for you.
okay. So, so gravity's always been. Where did
Uh,
it come from?
well, I mean, gravity's it's ever present, in its various forms and functions. You know, you know how gravity works. I mean, large masses create their own gravitational pull, and I mean that's how everything out in space has come together. I mean, even the Earth. We're all subjected to Earth's gravitational pull. At some point, the Earth got to a mass to where it created enough gravity to pull itself and keep itself together from flying apart, and then all of us, uh, small insignificant creatures on the surface of the Earth, we're all subjected to the force of gravity that's being created from the uh, central point of the Earth and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's gravity holding the Earth together, all right? But then there's gravity in outer space. And then there's gravity that is the sun is using to hold the solar system together.
Mhm.
And then there's more gravity on top of gravity on top of gravity on top of gravity. Is that what you're saying, Professor?
Well, I mean, there's varying forms of gravity. I mean, you have to
Really?
consider. Yeah. I mean, you've got your general gravity is what we're subjected to here on Earth, and then you have another form of kind of selective gravity out in space. See, gravity doesn't work the same here on Earth as it does out in space. See, I know, I know it sounds
There's different
a
types of
little it sounds a little wonky to you. I get it. I get it. But out in space, what happens is the effect of gravity, since, I mean, there's so much space in between the objects out there. All right. What happens with gravity out in space, it just kind of causes things to orbit around each other. Now, once a mass brings itself to a point to where it reaches a certain amount, then it can create a planet, but that planet isn't going to affect other large masses to a point to where
Professor,
they're pulled into each other.
Professor, Professor.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you saying that
Yes, sir.
the Earth is nothing but a bunch of stuff all over the universe that clump together? Is that what you're saying, Professor?
Precisely.
So the Earth is nothing but space debris.
The Earth, if you would like to simplify it to that degree, sir, it is pretty safe to say that yes, because I mean, you have to remember there was a point about 30 million years ago when there was an impact. Okay, there was an impact with another body and the Earth that struck the Earth, broke off, and formed the Moon. And the Moon didn't quite get away from the Earth, you see. All right, the Moon, I mean, it was out there, and in some way or another, once it left the Earth, hey, it formed into another perfect sphere out there in space, and it's still subject
Professor,
to the Earth's
Professor,
gravitational pull. But
Professor,
yes, yeah,
are
yeah,
you saying that the moon was a part of the Earth and actually it broke off and it was pieces floating all over the place and it came together and it made a ball and now it's just following us? Is that what you're saying, Professor?
yeah, that was around I want to say about 28 million years ago. It was either 35 to 28 million years ago. That was around the time where the Earth was just beginning to form itself. Because in the beginning it was just it went through these stages. Okay, there was the Big Bang, and then after a while there was the culmination of the Earth cooling. Okay, because there was at one point that the Earth was inhospitable. I mean, it was terrible on the surface of the Earth. So there was no atmosphere. It was just kind of
Professor,
a little. Yeah. Yes.
Professor,
Yes. Yes.
how does the rain fall in Australia if we're on a ball?
Well, I mean, the rain falls the way that it falls wherever you are right now. I mean, it falls down, but since down is relative to
But
wherever you are on the globe, then
but Australia's at the bottom of the ball, Professor.
yes.
So the rain is actually coming up.
Well, no. You see now. Not so much that the rain is coming up. The rain is coming down in Australia, but since Australia is subjected to the gravitational pull of the Earth, because everything's being pulled towards the center of mass, what you would perceive in Australia would be the rain falling up. But since you're not in Australia, if you were in Australia, it would seem like the rain was coming down, because in Australia, relative to your position, yes, they're upside down. But once you actually get on a plane and travel across the ocean and you make it to Australia yourself, I mean, you've gotten on the bottom of the ball, okay, relative to the Earth's gravity and all that. Because, I mean, you're not going to feel the curve, so don't even worry about that, because the atmosphere is curving along with the surface of the Earth some way or another. And then once you get there, then you're going to, jump out of the plane and be on the ground in Australia, and the rain's going to fall down to wherever you are, because everything's subjective. I mean, it's
But
all relative, guy.
Professor,
Everything's being pulled towards the center of mass.
Professor,
It's easy.
is Australia at the bottom of the ball?
Oh, well, there is no top or bottom per se,
So why
because
do we have the Arctic and Antarctic?
well, I mean, those are just kind of reference points to where you are on the globe.
So
So,
how do we know which one's on top and which one's on bottom?
well, I mean, it's just kind of a general orientation for when you're looking at the
No,
globe, because
I thought there
no.
were longitudes and latitudes that said where things were on the ball.
Well, yeah, that's all measured. Actually, we use the equator as sort of a central reference point to determine longitude and latitude. That's
So
how, yeah.
by doing that, we can't determine where things are on the ball, Professor?
Here, can you repeat the question?
By having longitude and latitude, can't we identify where things are on the ball?
Yes, we can.
So
But
is Antarctica on the top or the bottom of the ball?
um, again, because the Earth is out in space. Okay, since
Oh,
it's out in space, I mean, it's all relative. All right, you got to think outside, away from the surface of the Earth, vegan. Okay, you got
but
to get far away from the Earth, and then
Antarctica and Antarctica is on the Earth.
yes.
So I'm not thinking outside, I'm thinking about the Earth.
Well,
So
well,
actually on the Earth, Professor, if we say that one's north and one's south, we should be able to point at it on a ball,
yes,
right?
yes.
So one's beneath us and one's up top.
Well, again, that's where we have to go back to the aspect of relativity. Because I mean, it's going to seem like it's on the top from when you look out at it, but at the same time, you're looking at the globe, and you'll see a continent up here, and you'll see, if you can zoom in, you're going to see people walking straight up down here. But if you're like far away and you zoom in on the bottom, you're going to see people that appear to be upside down, but they don't know they're upside down, because they're out in space, and it's all relative, because everything's being pulled towards the center of mass by the magnificent force of gravity.
So from the guys in the ISS, they're upside down.
Um,
Australia is upside down from the ISS perspective, right?
potentially, Potentially. It just depends on the orientation of the ISS. As I understand it, the ISS typically flies about 250 miles above the surface of the Earth, and the bottom of the ISS, because the ISS actually does have the bottom, the bottom is usually oriented towards the surface of the Earth. So regardless of where it is, when it's circling around the globe, when it's orbiting the globe, I'm giving myself a headache. I'm giving myself a headache. But this is how much I've been back and forth with these knuckleheads over the last couple of years, that I can sit here and talk just like them, and they sound so ridiculous.
I just got one last question, Professor.
All right, what you got?
How do you know anything you're saying is true?
Because the smart people said so.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. That was me being a globe head. I'll be here all week. Good Lord.
Oh my God, man.
Dude, I was about dude.
That's the longest we've ever gone.
Oh man.
You notice I always play the dumb kid.
I'm saying, we gotta do this more often.
I can't play the professor. Professor's too damn hard.
I'm saying, man, it's like what you gotta do. You gotta try to remember the most ridiculous stuff that you've heard in these discussions with these folks, and I'm saying, because it's the same stuff. I get it. I get why somebody can be so stubborn, but it's because it's like I said this morning, man. It's like they're detached from reality. Basically, they don't trust their senses. They trust scientism priests over their own five senses. It's crazy. It's crazy to me, man.
You know, that relativity stuff is such bull BS.
I'm saying.
I mean, how can you argue it's all relative when you can't prove that the relativity is true or not? I don't get that. Like, when it comes to the shape of the Earth, I don't understand how they can pass that as an explanation. You have to address it from our reality. Yeah. How can something be beneath us and have clouds over it with rain falling literally upward?
And dude, that was it. That was it. That's what they will say. It's all relative. And I mean, here, the thing, you just don't understand how big the Earth is. Okay, look. So because it seems like it's all flat and level, okay, the Earth is really big. So regardless of where you are, the curvature is going to be really slight. It is a ball, but it's just hard to see the curvature.
Mm-hmm.
It's, dude, oh my goodness. All right, shout out to Gartrell McKinney. I appreciate that super chat, man. Appreciate you. Good Lord. Yeah, we should do that again sometime. I'll wear my lab coat, throw on my glasses. It'll be fun.
And I act like the stoner kid, like, dude, how you know any of that stuff true?
Right.
And that's what they think we are. I mean, they think we're just a bunch of idiots, man. And what's his name? Owen Benjamin? Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, he's realizing this is real. This is real, and it's not going anywhere because you have too many grounded, objective people that have come to the understanding that science has been lying to us. I mean, we realize it. And even though many of us have different ideologies and beliefs and backgrounds and stuff like that, when it comes to flat Earth, we're solidified. They don't have a leg to stand on. They don't.
Yeah.
All we can do is say, believe us because we're smart. Your last statement is their defense. We're smart, you're not.
Yeah, basically.
They don't believe they got to prove anything to us.
No, man, we've got thousands of years of experience by the brightest minds to ever walk the globe to figure this stuff out, and you think that you're going to come along and just kick the table over and just
exactly what we're doing.
Yeah,
flipping the damn table.
Yeah, they say it
Making
to
them
me.
start all over. Ah!
Say it to me. I'm like, yeah, basically. And who are you? I'm D Marble. What's up?
Exactly.
What's happening?
Yep.
Yes, we're here to tear this whole globe deception down.
Tear it down.
We're the
Tear it
wrecking
down.
crew. We're the wrecking crew. What's up? What's up?
And zero tolerance for liars. Zero tolerance for liars. We've been lied to just too long. The lying needs to stop.
Yeah.
You know,
We're done. We're done.
I don't want to hear no more fake stories and fake CGI. None of that. I mean,
Nope.
completely skeptical of the system and the establishment. Completely.
Yeah.
Because if they can lie about this, God knows what else they're lying about.
Man.
You know,
I'm saying, you know, people still want me talking about mud floods and all that. I'm like, nah. but look, I'm saying, but the idea of that is, I mean, if look, and there's the meme going around where it's like if you know the news is BS these days. Whatever they're talking about on the news as far as these politics, these false flag events and all that stuff. I mean, you know that the current news is BS. If the news is that fake, think about what they did to history.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying they could have changed anything. Could have changed anything. They could have put the faces of these people on those folks, moved this territory to that, changed this place to this, and nah, man. Like,
and I would never argue against any of that stuff. My only thing is we don't need to create stories, because when we start creating stories, we get just like them. I don't want to be like them, because I think what they do is their power is based on getting people to believe in something. So they create this ideology, they create these stories, and they pass it to children, and children believe them, and they grow up and they regurgitate it and they pass it on for generation after generation. Truth does not work that way. You don't have to gain believers when you're speaking the truth. You just share.
Right.
And the truth kind of works its way, its own pace, and then bang, it hits you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's one of those things where you don't have to convince people of anything. You just share it, and you stay consistent. You know, because I don't want any more stories. I don't want any more stories. Me personally, if someone has a great idea about something, that's great. I'm gonna listen to it. But the moment you say it's truth, I'm gonna say who, what, when, where. I want you to give me the details. I want to see sources. I want to know everything that you're claiming. If you don't have those things, you are perpetuating a belief. That's what you're doing. And when you do that, you can easily have gotten that from fraudulent sources. I want to cut that pipeline off. The pipeline of lies, you cut it off. And you demand proof on all claims. You make a claim, show me the proof. That's the way I'm dealing with people in 2019. You know, in agencies and in history and books and all that. I don't give a damn if it's the best-selling book and millions of people like it. I want to see the truth. Don't tell me something is this and you don't have the evidence to support it.
They're gonna be mad at me. They're gonna be mad at me, man. I'm moving into a space of trying to find more simple ways to put across the same stuff I've been saying. The same stuff.
Right.
You know, just like this morning. I'm like, you know, I don't know. Here, did you get a chance to see that video I did this morning?
Yeah, I checked it out.
Yeah, man. I'm saying just with like these short stories, these analogies, parables, if you will, you know, just trying to equate, you know,
the funky bathroom analogy. The funky bathroom, airport bathroom analogy.
Yeah. You gonna let somebody convince you that the airport bathroom smells good, huh? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you gonna try to convince me? Man, get out of my face. Get out of my face. That bull crap.
And that's how it is, man. I mean, people believe in things because we're taught to trust authority. You know, our teacher was an authority figure. Your parents are authority figures, and your parents kind of earn the right to be trusted, you know, up to a point. you know, especially when you're extremely young.
Yep.
But outside of your parents, everyone else got to earn the right to be trusted. And that's with citing sources, sharing truthful statements that can be verified with evidence. If you're not doing that, why? I mean, you know what this makes me think of? It makes me think of the Jim Jones cult.
Mm-hmm.
When Jim Jones convinced all those people to move to Guyana and live in a paradise that he claimed that he had with God and all this other stuff. And when things went south, he convinced hundreds of people to take poison. And the ones that wouldn't do it, they forced them into taking poison. And I forgot what the numbers are, but hundreds of people lie dead in the jungle of Guyana. I think it was called Guyana. Guyana, yeah.
That's crazy.
Because people believed in men. They believe in mankind. Mankind must be verified. He must be checked. He must be held accountable for the things he say and his actions. Man is not God. See, science, that's why they want to remove God out of the discussion. Because if you remove God out of the discussion, they're God. My infinite wisdom makes me God. And when you're God, guess what? No one questions you. We don't question God. Anyone that believes in a source or a higher power, we don't question it. We don't question if the sun is going to rise or if it's shining. We don't question the air that we breathe every day. We don't question God's creation. They want us to not question them because they want to be perceived as gods. And most of us are falling for it. We're falling for it, and we're believing blindly and trusting in men and women. Mankind is really trying to dismantle the idea of any supreme source or any higher power. So therefore, believe in me. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson. What I say is the truth, and I am the one that have the credentials. You stop thinking. I've already done all the thinking for you.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
Yeah. They definitely are teaching people to discontinue the belief of a higher power, because, man, let me see, how am I trying to articulate that? I'm trying to get my points together. It's a matter of, if you believe in the globe, then that means that you believe in the Big Bang. If you believe in the Big Bang, then that means that you believe in something out of nothing, that there was this godless explosion that created everything. And
Right.
that in itself, I mean, look, look, my pops is a pastor, okay? Grew up in the church. All right.
Mhm.
And being a young globe believer, it was always in the back of my mind. I'm like, so when I'm reading the Bible and it says Jesus ascended up into heaven, or it said,
Mhm.
it's talking about how God is watching you. I'm like, from where? We're like on this little ball in the middle of nowhere, out in space, man. Where's
But
God at?
we're right.
I'm like, where's God at in this whole thing? Like, God's like at the edge of space. He's got like this huge space telescope or something, like watching us from a distance. Something is it's like some, um, closed circuit TV or something. That God's just watching everybody from some way or another, like really, 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 really far away, like billions and billions of light years away.
Right.
I used to be confused about that, man. With
Right.
that whole idea. If we're created, why is God so far away then? We're
Right.
supposed to be important. Why is God so far away? Why would God do that? Put us on this little speck of dust out here. So what about these other planets? I mean, if this Earth was created by God, and they're telling us that they found all these other planets that can support life out in the
Right.
cosmos, does that mean that they're going through the same stuff that we're going through, because if we're on this one little speck of dust, and then they're telling us that there's billions and billions of other galaxies out there, we got to believe that there's other planets out there that can support life, and on these other planets that can support life, chances are, through the same processes that we've been told, as far as the scientific community are telling us that some way or another meteorites came down, and they had all the building blocks of creating life, and they crashed some way or another into the what is that, the primordial soup,
Yeah.
and brought life to the earth, and then life sprouted from that. Yeah. Chances are that happened on another planet, or another planet, or another planet, or another planet.
Actually, we were tadpoles, and we were all in the water. This is a water planet at first. We were tadpoles.
Right.
And then the tadpole turned into a frog, and then we start walking on two legs, and the evolution. But what's crazy?
Yeah.
There is no evidence that any species has ever evolved. Did you know that?
None.
No evidence of any species ever evolving.
Right, like there was no point where a lizard turned into a bird or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that's called crossing over kinds.
I guess you could say a caterpillar, right?
That's
an evolution. Would you?
Yeah. I suppose. That, I mean, that's like a kind of condensed version of evolution. But what they're, I mean, but I know what you're talking about as far as.
Or is that just that species process?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like the process. That's that species process, because, what they, as far as the X-rays and all that, from what we're told, or what we're shown, as far as when we're conceived, I mean, we start off as like this little bitty sperm cell with the little tail and all that, and we go wiggling, and we get in there and interact and all that, and then there's a period where we have gills, isn't it? And then we have a tail when we're babies and all that, and it's like in the womb we kind of evolve through these different stages. So I think that the idea of the caterpillar is kind of going through that same process. It's like it's still the same creature, but it's just being called two different things.
It grew up.
Yeah.
Grew up.
I mean, because we go from being like zygote, you know what I'm saying, and then we're like fetus, and then we come out, and then we're baby, and then we're toddler, then we're child, and then we're adolescent, teen, adult, and then it just goes through that whole process.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the process of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, different.
Right.
Yeah, like different names for the same creature.
Exactly.
To describe the different stages.
You said something earlier. You were talking about different life on different planets. That's where they get these ideas of Star Wars. Oh,
I was about to snap on that one, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to the climax when I was going to be like, so wait a minute. If there was a Jesus on Earth, does that mean that these other planets all have their own Jesus? Well, how does that work? Dude, I was tripping inside my head. I didn't ask anybody these questions out loud. I was just always walking around like, what?
Well, people like Steven Spielberg inserted that idea in the minds of people with the idea of Star Wars, the bar scene where they're in the bar and all the different species are interacting. They all come from different planets, from different universes and stuff like that. They want us to believe that. And that's what they tell us. And then you got to ask yourself, how could they possibly know that life exists anywhere else? We can't even get out of low Earth orbit, I believe. So how could you possibly know if those distances that they claim other worlds exist? How do they know? We've never been there. We don't know if anything exists outside of our own world.
No.
It's all speculative at best.
No. I mean, we would have to be a very arrogant species to believe that we are alone in the universe. Because when you look out into the stars, when you look out into the cosmos and you see all these constellations, all these billions and trillions of stars, each one of these points represents another galaxy. Just like our Milky Way galaxy, you look out into the distance, take your telescope, and you can see distant galaxies. And each one of these galaxies, you have to believe that there's got to be at least one that can support life. So for each one of these little lights that you see up there has at least one hospitable planet that can create life. You would have to, the probability of us being alone in the universe is vastly, it's utterly impossible. It's laughable.
Right. Right. And that's their attack on the source.
Yeah.
Attack on intelligent designer. See, the problem that I have and what made me lose my atheism was the fact that life is intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Life is intelligent, you know. So there's obviously intelligence at work, and we witness it every single day. So if life is intelligent, there has to be something greater than life or a designer that somehow created this life, this one life that we're all experiencing. It has to be. That is more reasonable than you saying it all just happened. It just, I mean, we figured out how to communicate. We figured out how to ration. We figured out how to think. You know, we all have the five senses. See, I always talk about the five senses, but what I leave out sometimes when I talk about it is that the animals also have five senses. Most animals. Most animals have five senses just like we do. And you know what? Their senses are stronger than ours.
Because
You
they're
ever heard
more
of
connected
eagle?
to nature.
Exactly. And the eyes of the eagle, you know what I mean? The hearing of a dog, you know, the agility of a cat or whatever, you know, it's when you think about it, it's all intelligent.
Oh man.
And
Dolphins?
because it's so intelligent, yeah, dolphins. And so, yeah, not only do we have life that has five senses and has their own way of negotiating the world on land, we have it at sea as well. And there's probably more life forms in the sea or the ocean than there are on the land.
Right. And
So,
and more complex too. Jeez.
more complex. Yeah, exactly.
Like they can create their own light. Like these some of these animals like in the deep ocean, like they're like self-luminescent, man. That's crazy.
Right.
Look, the have you ever sat up and watched, okay, so we're off on some other stuff. Have you ever sat up and watched like a documentary on octopi, like the octopus? How those how those things can go from one place to another and look exactly like its surroundings within seconds.
Right.
It just
A
blends.
natural chemical.
Dude.
Yeah.
Octopus.
Crazy.
Man, octopus is nuts. Dude, that had me believing in aliens, to tell you the truth. Octopus, that had me believing in aliens, honestly. Because I'm like, dude, wait. So you're telling me this thing can sit here, look around and say, okay, I'm not feeling safe in this area. Bloop. It's gonna, and it attaches here, it turns black, and then it blends into the hue of purple back here, and then the blue and all that. And it can sit here, move over here, and then it can be like light blue. Dude, with it like that. That's nuts to me. That's crazy to me. And that, it works like like a perfect defense mechanism. And it can attach itself to some rocks that have some leaves floating from them, and it can sit here and cause its skin to protrude out to look exactly like the leaves. Dude, that's nuts. That is nuts to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
It's kind of like an artist. An artist can look at a scene and draw it just from sight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like it can't. An artist can't become the scene, but it can capture it, right, mentally, and then transpose that mental picture onto a canvas. But the octopus can physically take the environment around him and blend in. It's phenomenal. is phenomenal. You know, so there's all types of intelligence and evidence to show that there's a lot of stuff going on that's much more complex than man could ever imagine. Therefore, the ideas of man cannot be the final answer of this one life. It can't be, because there's so much he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He does not know, and he will never know, because he doesn't have the ability to know all. His life is not even long enough to know a fraction of God's creation.
No.
You know, but a limited fraction. So the issue here is they want us to believe they're gods. They want us to accept their ideas blindly, and to get us to believe in them versus the obvious, an intelligent designer. And that's why science, especially theoretical science, is in complete opposition of any ideas of an intelligent designer. And what they want, what they prefer, is for mankind to believe in their ideas and accept them as truths, even though they haven't verified them. And that's where the whole idea of theoretical science comes from. And once you see through that deception, that's when you start appreciating this world. Because you really can't appreciate this world through the eyes of other men. You must experience this world and know that there's something greater than yourself. If you don't know that something's greater than yourself, I don't care what religion, what you can, whatever doctrine, books, I'm not talking about any man-made concepts. I'm talking about the ability to recognize the world for what it is. And that's why I'm a flat earther. I recognize that this earth is not a ball. And I recognize the world for what it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And once you do that, liars stand out, because liars want you to believe. They just want you to shut up and accept and believe. Shut up, accept, and believe. Shut up, accept, and believe. And now they have the power, they have the God complex, the ego that says that they're greater than what they actually are. That's what this is all about, guys. This ain't just about flat earth. It's about seeing the world for what it actually is versus what they claim. That's what this is really about.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a much bigger fight. It's a
Right.
much bigger fight, much bigger battle than flat earth. And, you know, people come at me saying that I need to get on another topic. I'm like, yo, this is the gateway. And it's
Yep.
not just, really not just about flat earth. I'm like, just trying to crack the door open so you can come in and take a look around. You
Right.
know, you see that this is wrong, man. Wait till you see all this other stuff.
Yep.
Wait till you see the government. Wait till you see the
Right.
Federal Reserve. Wait till you see history.
Exactly.
Wait till you see these false flags. Wait, man. Look, this is the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And I'm saying, man, there's these folks propping themselves up, trying to you know, call themselves not call themselves, but propping themselves up, positioning themselves as the experts, the ones that people go to when they abandon their own senses. And it's
Right.
empowering to get in touch with your own senses. That's the thing. Because I mean, it's frowned upon to trust your own senses. Our
Right.
our senses are fallible. Really? Really?
Mm.
In what case? In what case? And that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I was saying this morning. I'm like, in how many different cases do people not trust their senses? I was looking at a video from Shajwar Bukti. You know, he's a flat earther and from India, I believe. And he was talking about how you use your senses to cross a street.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna let somebody else tell you that? No, you rely on your own senses. You're gonna look from side to side. You're using your vision
Mm-hmm.
to say, okay, there's cars coming. I'm gonna stay right here. Look from okay, it's clear now. I'm gonna cross the street. So you're relying on your senses for that. You know, when you go out to eat and at the end of it, you're like, man, that was some good food. How do you know that was good food? Because you're relying on your sense of taste.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we have the ability to know truth. I would argue that everyone that wants change in this world, you'll never get it outsourcing your intelligence. You will never get any real change in this world. And many of us want change. I'm one of them. I want this world and humanity to be one. That's what I would love to see within my lifetime. But we will never receive that, never obtain that if we don't start seeing things for what they actually are. If you're just going, if you're just the type of person chasing ideology and accepting other people's ideas as truths when there's no evidence to substantiate their claims, this world will never change for the better. It will never change for the better because now you're being guided by the minds of men. I'm asking for us to wake up and realize we already have the answers. We already know truth. All we got to do is experience this world, experience it for exactly what it is. We're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And once we see the truth in those things, only then can we change. But if we're going around with some la-la land, and let's say you're the kind of person say, I stay away from everything negative. Well, you ain't gonna never really have a real impact in this world if you just chasing a utopian idea about life. Life is not only a utopia. You have to see the good, the bad, and the ugly to understand, to have a bigger picture, in my opinion, of what's really going on. If you think because you're doing really well, that's the way the world is functioning, you're delusional.
Yeah.
If you're doing really bad and you think the whole world is bad, you're delusional because there's people doing well. I'm saying you got to look at everything. You have to have discernment in men, number one, and you need to become observant to the world around you. And the only way you can do that is by way of your five senses. It must be detectable by one or more of your five senses, and you must have a critical thinking mind to process that data that you've collected. If you don't know how to do that, you're never going to make any real impact in this world. You're not. You're going to grow old and you're going to die.
Yep.
And if you believe in reincarnation, that would be the number one reason, because you ain't do enough work while you're alive. So you come back as a damn frog. Now, because you ate too many damn hamburgers, or you come back as a I don't know, a mental patient or something. You know what I mean? You didn't do the job right the first time. I don't know if I agree with that, but if there was reincarnation, that would be a good reason for it. Because you blew 60, 70, 80, 90 years of your life just believing what other people tell you. You didn't contribute anything. So guess what? God hits reset and your ass do it all over again. Now you're an infant all over again. You don't have no memories of your first life.
Yep.
I don't know why I did that, but it would be cool if he did that. If he or she or it did that, that would be cool as shit. Because you screwed up the one good life he gave you. He said, you know what? Do it again. You're not ready for heaven. Do it again. You ain't helped nobody the entire time you was alive. You were very selfish. You were destructive. You didn't give a damn about nothing that I created down there. Go back and do it again. And you screw it up, and send you again.
Right.
Send you again.
Continue getting recycled, and that's I'm saying, man. Folks get into that. Folks, talk to me about that. The like the like the moon matrix recycling or something like that. It's like when you die, your spirit gets sucked into the moon, and then you kind of gets recycled, and you come back through the ether and come back through the core of the earth some way or another, and then you're reborn as the same spirit in a different body under different circumstances, so you can try to get it right. And I'm like, what?
That would suck. And maybe that's the true hell.
Maybe.
Because now instead of going to where you came from, you got to keep coming back until you get it right because you're retarded and you weren't able to get it the first time. You know what I mean? Or the second time or the third time. I don't know.
Yeah, and then yeah, you come back and you forgot you forgot about everything that happened before.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. That's what the Hindus believe. They believe in reincarnation. They believe in karma and reincarnation. And when you don't do right, it's a reset.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reset.
Like you got to go back and you got to square up your karma.
Remember?
Yep. You know, close the karmic cycle or complete your karmic cycle or close the loop some way or another. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just making up stuff. But if I was a designer and I wanted to mess with people, that'd be a great way to mess with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I let them get a little taste of the country club heaven. I get, okay, you like this? This was cool, right? You like this? You have fun? Oh yeah, God, I really love this. Oh, okay, now take your ass back down there and do it right.
right. I'm going to bring you to this room. I'm going to show you where you screwed up. We're going to sit here for about a month watching everywhere you screwed up. All right, we're going to run it, or since it's on the other side, it could be like blast processed into your consciousness, you know, some way or another. Because time is nothing on the other side, they say. So you know, bam, within like a couple minutes, bam, you got it all. Okay, you figured it out. Okay, this place is dope, right? Okay, you know where you screwed up. Go back, go do it again.
And then all of a sudden, you're coming out of birth canal.
Right. That's why you crying. That's why you crying when you come out. Like, no, not this place again.
Not again. No. No. I'm telling you, this could be the hell. This could be the punishment.
It could be. It could be. And you know, I was I'm saying, man, whenever I used to see a baby, I'd be sitting here. For some reason or another, babies like me. They'll just sit here and they'll be looking at me. I'll like make a face at them. They'll be laughing. I'll be like, hey, just playing with them. But it's like I end up picking up a baby and I'll be sitting here talking to them like, you know more than you're telling me, don't you? Don't you?
They look like they know some stuff, don't they?
I'm saying, babies. I feel like babies are kind of 1 foot in, one on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'll be looking at the babies like, can you like see my aura or something? What's going on, man? Why are you looking at me like that? What's up? You looking at me like you know me? What's happening? What's happening, little soul, little young soul? What's good?
See right through you. See right through you. See who you really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be close, man. And you know, cause there's points where even like with my kids, man, it's like there'll be a point where baby's sleeping and you'll see baby like smile really big, like a baby that's like a week or two old. You know what I'm saying? They don't not fully capable of understanding what's going on in this reality, this physical reality that we're in right now. So I mean, you can't really entertain a baby, a newborn infant, to where, you know, they'll be entertained to a point to where they'll laugh, but they'll be sleeping, will have their eyes closed, and they'll have the biggest smile that you ever saw. You're like, what are you laughing at, baby?
Exactly.
What are you seeing? What are you seeing right there? You ever seen that?
Yeah, and they're peaceful. They're extremely peaceful. And it's kind of like, you know, maybe they did mess up in another life and they're happy to get a second chance. That could be another way to look at it.
That could be.
It could be a punishment to some, and it could be redemption for others.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I felt like that was because the babies are like sleeping. When they're sleeping, it's like, okay, so here's what I kind of came up with, and this I'm not even sure how. Yeah, let's get into some abstract stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never astral projected. I've never like had a full out of body experience. I was never able to do that. You know, personally, like at will. I've known people who have said, yeah, man, you know, I can have a dream and it's like I'll lay down and then I'll like sit up and leave my body and I'll go fly around and stuff. And I'll be like, man, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm like,
Heroin.
yeah, I'm saying, but look, I got close. I got close one time to being able to control my dream. You know, the first
Right.
thing I did, I
What?
punched Obama in the mouth.
You
I,
ain't, you ain't, you ain't hit Barry, did you?
dude, laid
You
him
put
out.
Barry.
Laid him out. Like, soon as I realized I was dreaming, I was like, "Yo, I'm dreaming. Oh, I can do whatever I want." Boom. Oh, there he is. Stuck him. Stuck him.
Go-
And then I woke up laughing. Oh, that was like the one time I got control of my dreams, man.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't know what they mean by astral project. I mean, I do know what they mean, but I'm trying to apply it to things that I've been through. I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know if I ever told you this story.
Oh,
I was driving. I had my wife, my son, and my daughter in the car with me. And my son and daughter was probably 10. My son was probably about 10 years old, and my daughter was probably about 8. And he just had a football game.
Mhm.
And my wife's sitting right over here. She can confirm all of this. We were coming from his little league football game, a little tot football game, right? And he was in his football outfit. I'm driving, and we're going around this winding road in Philadelphia. It's called Lincoln Drive,
Mhm.
and it's a really dangerous road. It's between two mountains, right? And it's a
Right.
winding road, so it's really no shoulder on either side. And it's actually the same road that Teddy Pendergast became paralyzed on. If
Oh.
anybody knows anything about that. Anyway, so there's no medium. I mean, there's a medium, but it's only a foot high, right? So the cars on the traffic that's coming towards you could easily jump over the medium, right?
Mhm.
So we're driving around this winding road, and I look up and I see lights coming straight at me, and it's at night. So the car that should have been on the other side of the medium, this 1 foot high medium, somehow hopped over and was coming straight at us head on,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
We're doing about, I don't know, 35, 40 miles an hour. Your instinct in that situation, I should have slammed on my brakes, right?
Right.
And this is why I'm comparing this to astral projecting. I didn't do that. I hit the gas.
Huh.
I hit the gas, right? So I'm driving. I look up. All of a sudden, these lights are in my face. So instead of hitting the brake, I hit the gas. And I hit the gas. And by me hitting the gas, the car swerved. And I went straight through. And then it came around, missing my car, jumped back on its side, and kept going.
Wow.
It was kind of like something took over. You know what I mean? Something literally took over because there was no rational reason for me to hit the gas. And instinctively, if you got headlights right in front of you, you're gonna hit the brakes. But
Mhm.
I hit the gas, right?
Yeah.
Me, my wife, both of my children, we were so shook. We had to pull over to the side of the road and sit and just think about for a while. My son was so scared, he put his helmet on for the rest of the ride, drive home.
Man,
my hands wouldn't stop shaking. That's how close to death we came, right?
that there's some divine protection, it would seem.
Exactly. It was kind of like something took over. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I seen everything go down, but it wasn't me. It was something else happening, you know.
Yeah.
And baby, you remember that? Yeah. Yep. And it was like I couldn't believe there was no damage, no nothing. It was like we walked away from that.
Oh, that's wild.
So anyway, I bring that up. Like when people talk about astral projecting, I kind of think about that story because I could see it was kind of like I wasn't hovering over myself, I could see everything happening, but I wasn't making any decisions.
Oh.
You know, I wasn't making any decisions. It was like it was a split second, and when I think about it, I ask myself, why did I hit the gas? Why did I hit the gas? There's no rational reason for me to hit the gas. And if I would have hit my brake, we would have had a head-on collision, and we probably wouldn't be here.
Man, it's kind of like you kind of hopped outside your body. Something else took over for a second, and then you know, you were right back in, like
Exactly.
in no time. That's, man.
That's how it felt. That's how it felt. So when people say astral projecting, I kind of feel like I know what they mean.
Yeah.
Because I had that experience. You know, you have no control, but you're witnessing everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy, crazy.
All right. Well. Since you shared your story, let me tell you mine.
Yeah.
All right. So, so I'm like 10. I don't know, like 10 to 13 years old, something like that. Early teen, preteen, something like that. It was summertime. Parents are at work, and you know, me and my friends, we were like playing outside. This was like back in like the early '90s, late '80s. We're you know, we're able to still go play outside and things. You know, before stuff got all weird. So, you know, I'm outside playing with my friends and all that. It's a hot summer day. We got up and we'll go hang out early, and then what happened is, like, I came back inside my bedroom because, I mean, we woke up early, we were out playing, it got hot, so we like come back inside kind of tired. Now in my bedroom, there's a big old TV. Remember the old school TVs that were like really heavy? All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we had like I'd say like a 29-inch TV, and it was just huge, just heavy as all outside. Now that TV was on this TV stand, this little entertainment center TV stand. This thing was raggedy. Me and my brother, you know, we're like kids. We keep fixing this thing. Like we're going out to the garage, grabbing Pop's hammers, putting more nails on it to try to keep it stable and all that, right?
Yeah.
Like this thing is raggedy.
Right.
And it's like it'll wobble from side to side, and we're like, put a nail here, put a nail there, trying to keep this thing, you know, supporting this big heavy TV. So that one day, we like come in, you know, after playing outside. I don't know. I think I didn't clean my bed off or something, so I just ended up. I was so tired, I just laid down on the floor. So I just grabbed a pillow off my bed, threw a little sheet or a towel or something on the floor, and I just laid down on the floor. But I was laid down close to that TV stand, right? So what happened? I'm asleep, and I hear my pops call my name. I'm laying down, Daryl. I raise my head up, turn around. Yes, sir. Second after I pull my head off that pillow and turn around to answer my pops, the TV stand broke and the TV fell on the pillow where my head was at.
Wow.
Here's the punchline. Pops wasn't even home.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Oh my God.
So I heard my father call my voice. That was the voice that was going to get my head off of that pillow, so I get, you know, turn around and answer. And then as soon as I pulled my head off of that pillow, dude, I'm telling you, within like 2-3 seconds, boom, TV fell right where my head was at. And I was like, yo, if I would have, bruh, if I wouldn't have heard that, if I wouldn't have heard that voice call my name, I would not be talking to you right now. I guarantee it. That TV would have crushed my head, dude. I'm not even playing.
Wow.
Real talk.
That's
Can't make
crazy.
this stuff up.
That is crazy.
Bruh. That's
So
yeah.
you're laying on the floor, your body's heavy TV that's on this rickety stand,
Mm-hmm.
and You think you hear your father, you wake up out of your sleep, and the TV collapses where you were laying.
Real talk. The
Wow.
TV stand collapsed, and the TV fell on that pillow right where my head was at just a couple seconds ago. Yeah.
Wow.
I had not, yeah, I hadn't publicly told that story to a lot of people, but since everybody knows now, yes, that really happened when I was younger. And then, like I said, man, I turn around, and Pops was at work when that happened. You know, my brother was outside playing still. I came in, dude, I was in the house by myself when that happened.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I was like, well, I guess I'm supposed to be here. You know what I mean? Because if not, that was my checkout time right then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
almost like when your mission is over and it's time to go. It's time to go.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That was wild. I like to look back at that like, well, I guess I'm not done yet, because
Yeah. Would you?
because that was supposed to be it.
So what are you thinking? You thinking it was something within you or something outside of you, guardian angel? Like what are you thinking?
I'd have to say that was either God or a guardian angel using the voice that they knew was gonna get my head off of there in order to continue to preserve my life,
Right.
and that's what was gonna get me off of that pillow before I got my little head crushed. So it's uh, I guess that was God, that was the Most High looking after me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we would like to believe. Let's try an alternative. What if and it's still the most high, but let's dig a little deeper, right?
All right.
'Cause I've analyzed my story deeply and I don't have an answer. I'm just pulling at straws here.
Yeah.
What if I kind of believe you have the body, but then you have what people like to refer to it as a soul or a
Mm-hmm.
spirit. I like to refer to it as consciousness.
Okay.
And consciousness is who we truly are. It's kind of like space, right? You
Mm.
got all the stuff in space, but then you have that black void behind it. That
Yeah.
black void is what really makes up space, not the stuff that they point at. The blackness in the background is what I like to see, like what I like to refer to as consciousness, right? Or we can say spirit or soul or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what if our consciousness, God equipped us with consciousness? Well, you know what? Let's use a different word. Our aliveness, consciousness, aliveness. Let's say that's all the same thing. Where we see and experience the world without our minds and without our bodies. Meaning, inherently, you knew that that thing was going to fall, and your consciousness woke you up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm saying this right.
Oh no,
Uh,
I get it. I get it.
that,
Like that
that
was
we
that.
have something equipped or built in all of us that if we listen to it, it will. Well, not that it speaks. It's not really a speaking. It's more of a feeling. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and all the speaking comes from your mind. You know what I mean? There's words floating around in your mind or your brain or whatever you want to refer to it as.
Right.
What if we are, and that's our link to God. Our true link to God isn't our words, isn't what we think, isn't our bodies, it's our consciousness. And our consciousness is connected to the source.
Mm.
And the source is who we truly are. And it can take control. In my case, something within me took control. Now, would I say there's a super highway to my true self, to the source? Yes, absolutely. But it seems like it was personal. It seemed like it was something that I did for me to, in that case of the headlights coming straight at me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been thinking about this for years, man, because this happened over 20 years ago, back. Yeah, about 20, 22 years ago. And because my son's 27, he was 10 at the time. So yeah, almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, because it's kind of like, well, God did it, or the guardian angel did it. It's kind of like those are cop outs. You know what I mean? I think it's something deeper.
Yeah. When I was into the whole aspect of I guess you could call it like new age, trying to connect with your higher self and all that, to let that kind of be your guide.
Yeah.
And let you move through different situations. I used to meditate, and
Right.
just listen for that feeling, that intuition, that little voice, or not voice, like you said, the whole that thing to guide you. And because this is something that I used to wonder about that.
Yeah.
And I think I probably said this a few weeks ago. I feel like I said this a few weeks ago. When I was talking to Dave Murphy, I was like, is there a way to make that voice a little bit louder some way or another? Because that voice is always right. We'll call it a voice. Just to to speak shorthand. Let's call it the voice.
And it's always good. It's always good, and it's always right.
Yeah, it's always right. It's always good. It's always trying to lead you to what's best for you. It's always looking out for your best interest. Period. Like making no mistakes. Whether it's a situation in dealing with people, or just a situation like when you're driving. In your case, it seems like that voice, that entity, whatever that may have been, took a closer hold of the situation, like a more firm grip. Like this is an emergency, so I have to intervene here. So I'm gonna put you over here, and I'm gonna push the gas down for you. I'm gonna let you watch for a minute, and then I'll give you control as soon as the situation has mitigated itself. You know what I mean? Soon as the danger has passed, then you can go back to being in control. I think that's kind of what happens, man. It seems like that. It seems like there is, something that loves you like it is you, looking out for you. That's
throughout mankind's history, we've given it names. We've called it guardian angels. We've called it God.
The Holy Spirit.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit and so forth.
Yeah,
and maybe all that stuff is true. I mean, but remember, we're dealing with the minds of men. You know what I mean? They're gonna label it what they think it is, right?
Yeah.
But you brought up a very good point. You said, "Shit, I lost it." You said, "Oh man, you made a good point, and I just forgot it that fast."
All
right,
well, take it over in case of an emergency.
No, it was something else you said, but I missed it. It was
what?
there.
All right, let me rewind. The stream.
I was talking about it's always good and it's always right. Oh yeah. I remember now.
Yeah, it's always looking out for you.
You said, what can you do to make that voice louder?
Yeah.
You were talking about making that voice louder. What I've learned is by reducing and with a goal of eliminating mental noise.
That's
if
meditation.
you can eliminate mental noise, your true conscience will speak louder than words.
Yes.
I think mentally, there's a lot of distraction in many people's minds that pull them away from their true conscience. Their true conscience, or their aliveness, their soul, their spirit. It's so many human words to attempt to describe and define this thing that's not definable. But our minds, we know so much about the brain and our mind that many of us assume that what we think is actually us, when really I'm saying there's something in the background that doesn't have anything to do with our mental thoughts. So, and I think this is why meditation is such a good idea, because the whole art of meditation is quieting the mind.
Oh man, I was
Quieting your mind, you become more in tune with self. And
yeah
what self are you becoming in tune with? Your true conscience.
yeah
So I kind of agree with that.
yeah the one that's always looking out for you. I
Right.
can dig it. I was all over it. One of my earliest videos. It was anticlimactic as all outside. I remember it. I was in my apartment. I remember I was wearing some black socks, my black sweatpants, and a purple shirt.
Right.
It was the 30-minute meditation challenge. I took that off of my channel because it had some copyright music on it. I didn't want to get it flagged. But
Right.
it's like I just set up the camera and I just sat there for like a half hour just meditating. I was into that. And I used to meditate like every morning for at least 20 minutes. I would get up without fail and I would just sit here and just, you know what I'm saying, get inside my mind, calm it down, you know, push all the stuff off to the side and just,
Mhm.
you know, just roll with it.
Right.
And it seemed like by doing that in the mornings, my days would go smoother because I
Right.
was more in touch with that voice
Right.
that's guiding us to, you know, what's good, you know,
Right.
to
Right.
simplify the whole thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was it, man. I was all about some meditation, and I remember. I mean, I'm sitting here pretending like I don't know the answers. The way to make the voice louder is to quiet your mind because it's
Right.
always in your mind. And people like Dave said, all people, free people. He said that's why people drown it out with music. You know,
Right.
and you know, people
Mhm.
drown it out with alcohol. People drown it out with TV, with drugs,
Exactly.
with video games, or what. You know,
Right.
because it's like part of them don't want that guidance. They don't want that. It's like it's nagging
Right.
sometimes because
Yeah.
it's telling you to do stuff that you don't want to do some of the times.
And it seems like it's conflicting information. You have you have a lot of, I don't want to use the wrong words here. Um, I don't want to say negative. See, it ain't about negative and positive. It's about, you have a lot of stimulus that serves no purpose,
Oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
A
Super
lot
Bowl's
of
coming up,
things,
isn't it?
yeah, it's a lot of things that we absorb on the regular, especially the lies that we're talking about, like the things they want us to believe, and the pursuit of money, and all the things that we engage in on the regular. That pressure is constantly a bombardment of your mind, right?
Yeah,
But then you have you. So you may be communicating to you with an internal voice, but because things that are positive and negative, or not necessarily important, that you can view as mental noise, is overtaking your mind, giving you the impression that's more important than you becoming in tune with yourself. That internal voice that I'm speaking of speaks very quietly. It's not emotional.
yeah.
It doesn't yell. It doesn't need to scream. It just is just there.
It's just
And
like,
for
hey man,
you to hear it, you literally have to be quiet.
yeah,
You have to quiet your mind.
all of it.
It is so hard. So many people can't do it. A
Yeah,
lot of people, they can't sit and just hit a switch and quiet their mind. It's actually an art. It's an art, and you got to train yourself to do it.
yeah,
And when you become successful with that, you can then really gain enlightenment, you know, and it's like you can connect to a light that's within you. And I ain't talking the new age stuff. You know what? I always cringe when I hear someone say it's new age. You know why?
Yeah.
Because the Buddhists have been talking about this before Christianity, before the Muslims, before any of that. It's just as old as all that stuff. So I'm not saying new age stuff. I'm saying stuff that I've tried that worked for me. And I'll give you one other example. I'll give you one example.
I like that. Go ahead.
Uh,
Yes.
My thing, when I go to the gym, I do the elliptical, right?
Mm.
Or I'll do the Stairmaster. Like you've been in Planet Fitness, right? Because that's one of your spots, right?
Oh yeah, that's where I rock.
Yeah, and I'll go to Planet Fitness too. But they got a Stairmaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever been on the Stairmaster, it will kill you anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough. And most people tap out within 30 minutes. Every time I get on the Stairmaster, I do over an hour.
Oh man.
Every single time. 50 years old, always do over an hour. Because I conditioned my mind this way. I get on the Stairmaster and I'm going. And when I start feeling the pain or I start feeling winded, I say to myself, there is no pain, there is no time. There is no pain, there is no time. There is no pain, there's no time. And I may have music on as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when I feel exhausted or feel pain, I constantly say that. By the time I get to about 10 times saying it to myself, the workout is over.
Oh man.
It's over. Like I'm on the cool down. Oh, usually it's at 55 minutes, and then you rationalize with your mind and say, I only got 5 more minutes. It may still hurt, but I'm gonna knock it out because I already did 50 minutes or I already did 55 minutes. It's kind of like I trick my mind, but I had a friend who does yoga. He told me that what you did was you've wiped out the mental noise, you became centered in the activity that you were doing, and you have transcended time. Because the reason most people get off of the Stairmaster and they won't do it for a long period of time, it's because of the ideas of time. And it takes a task on the mind.
Yeah.
And it makes the mind say, oh my God, you can't do this for an hour. You can't do this. My mind doesn't have a chance to say that because I'm telling myself there is no pain, there is no time. There is no pain, there is no time. And I never really get to 10 times saying that before I'm done the workout.
That's good stuff.
Crazy. It's crazy, but it works for me.
Hey, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. And it's like these man, I mean, that's what gets me. Even if people don't conclude that there's, I don't know, a spiritual aspect, like if they don't go to the religion, because I feel like religion, excuse me, religion is another system of control.
Right.
The way that one goes about failing to acknowledge that there's something going on outside of just matter.
Right.
We got to look at consciousness. We got to look at the spirit. We got to look at stuff like deja vu, dreaming.
Right.
Right. You know, empathy. What's this? Mirror neurons. Like when you see somebody get hit by a car, you're like, ugh. You can kind of feel it too. When you see, dude, my worst thing when I see somebody like break a bone. When I see an arm bend the wrong way or a leg bend the wrong way, dude, I cringe bad whenever I see that. That's called your mirror neurons. It's like you're feeling that person's pain some way or another, but just by seeing that.
Right.
There's some things that you cannot explain just by an accidental explosion created everything. Okay, where did the consciousness come from?
Exactly.
Where did this human connection come from?
And is it intelligent.
Yeah.
Absolutely is intelligent.
Of course.
That is evidence. Because we are alive, that is evidence that there's a higher power. Our aliveness proves a higher power.
Just the idea that you can sit and contemplate whether or not there is a higher power proves that there's a higher power.
Exactly. And even in the animals, plant life, it's all conscious. It's consciousness that makes life.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't conscious, you wouldn't recognize any form of life.
At all.
I'm telling you, man, they want us to be unconscious souls driven by our minds where they implant ideas in us. That's what they want.
Yeah. Robots.
Exactly. So the analogy of, you know how they always show the android and all that stuff walking around? I think that's not their goal. That's not their goal. They're not trying to take human consciousness and put it in a machine. They already know that the body is somewhat of a machine. The mind can be programmed. They don't need to create metal androids.
Yeah.
They already have human beings that they can create that, and they're already doing it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Why would a person argue with us about flat Earth? Why would they ever argue with us? Those are human androids that are programmed to do what they're doing.
Yep.
So I think the analogy when we see these AI type movies isn't really robots with consciousness. It's human beings with consciousness being controlled as robots. That's what I think the real mission is. Because how can you remove consciousness and put it in a robot? You can't. That's all sci-fi. But you can turn a person into a robot. When you disconnect them from reality, you disconnect them from their five senses, you disconnect them from who they truly are, which is their consciousness, and have them only interested in mind stuff.
Yeah.
Because the mind, they have proven that they can program the mind. That's proven. They've done it a number of times. They've done it with animals. They can do it with human beings.
Yep.
That's the true control. That's their ultimate objective.
So ultimately, we're not just we have a dual role. We talk about unplugging people from the matrix, with awakening to new information. But we're not only unplugging them from the matrix; we're trying to plug them into a greater reality.
Exactly.
Because I mean, while plugged into the matrix, this false synthetic, just abstract constructive. Not constructive, abstract construct presented to us as a reality that we can all exist in. It's parasitic. The whole system is parasitic. It drains from your soul. It drains from your humanity. It drains from your empathy. It drains from your love.
Right.
It takes away all that.
And it makes you selfish as well.
Yes.
It makes you self-centered.
Yes.
And not caring about anyone else.
Yes. Yep. That's how you got to get ahead. If you are going to get ahead in this system, I mean, you have to be able to display certain psychotic traits.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's how these characters, the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, they are subjected to these different tests, different levels. Okay, if you can do this, okay, then you're worthy and you can move on to this next thing. Okay, what about this next messed up thing that you can do? Bam, you move on from there. They'll move you up based on your level of depravity. And they'll just continue to push it. They desensitize you one thing at a time, inch by inch, continuing to push you. That's what society does. It takes away your humanity. And we're trying to unplug you from that false, robotic, bullcrap reality that they've constructed and plug you back into something real.
Right.
Back to your senses.
And
back to your soul, back to your higher, more divine nature.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
And one piece of evidence to substantiate my theory here is what they did to us when we joined the military. When we joined the military, they programmed us and they turned us into robots.
Yeah.
Literally. Now we felt like we were still ourselves, but in reality we weren't. We were literally machines that operated at the behest of the controllers. And that's more of a dynamic uh, uh, example of what I'm talking about here. You know, I think the objective is to get us programmed to the point where we don't realize that we're programmed and we carry out their intent and we're thinking that we're doing it on our own when really we're not. You know, it's kind of like yeah, so I like a lot of these movies talking about AI and all that other stuff. See, and I'm gonna say this for the record.
Mm-hmm.
Man can't replicate consciousness. He
No.
can't. He can mimic it, but he can't create it. And the reason he can't create it is because he's not the source. And I believe, this is my personal belief, that true consciousness and aliveness is of God or the source, right? And so what he's trying to do when he creates AI, he's trying his best to mimic God.
Yes.
And when he gets something that appears to be man and man's consciousness, he feels like he's now the new God. But there's a problem. He can't do it.
Nope.
But
Not completely.
if he can get people believing that he can do it, he'll default to that to feel as though he is God, because now people believe, like right now, how many people would argue that AI is not possible? Most people wouldn't. They'll say, oh no, it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's coming. Oh,
Yeah.
they're another 10, 15, 20 years, AI is going to be taken. That's because you've seen Terminator 1, 2, 3. You've seen all these other things, all these fictions, pieces of man-made work that claim that man has the ability to destroy itself by creating artificial intelligence. I'm arguing they can't, but they want you to believe they can. That's what I'm arguing. I don't believe they can replicate consciousness. I don't believe they can create consciousness. They can just use their magic tricks to make us think things are more intelligent than what they really are. Kind of like the moon missions, you know. Those people in that mission command center believes wholeheartedly they went to the moon. But there's a strong possibility that all that stuff was deception. And it never happened. But they believe it. And because they believe it, now the space agency is all powerful.
Man, well, here, hold up. Okay, so here, I figured out how to get my screen up.
Yeah.
I figured that out. All right, let me see, man. Cause look, here's the issue. Okay, so here, if I play this, can you hear it for 1 second? Can you hear that?
No,
Could you?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, hold on. So let me pull this up real quick. I gotta adjust my sound preferences. This what might be where I fall off, but let me see. Nope, can't pull it from that. You know what? I'm gonna have to unplug the headphones for a second. I gotta share something real quick, man. On this AI, because there was something that I saw a few weeks ago. I want to share that with you. All right, so here, watch. Hold up. All right, so let me try to share my screen.
While you doing that, let me address one person in the chat.
Okay.
ESPI, he says they already have AI. Yes, they do, but they don't have consciousness.
Yeah.
They do not have the ability to take human consciousness and put it in a machine, but they have given you hundreds of movies that says that they can do it. When you see evidence of a human being actually being in a machine, then you can say that they got that. But they do have artificial intelligence. I do recognize that.
All
But
right.
it's artificial. That means it's not real. So it's not
Exa-
real intelligence.
Exactly. And I was trying to kind of expand on that aspect of artificial, but here hold on.
Oh, my
Okay.
bad. Sure.
All right, let me see. I'm trying to present to everyone. Is it presenting to everyone? Okay, everybody. Here, let me turn my volume up. I want y'all to hear this crap. Watch this. Where is this? Come on now.
For military application.
Wait.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
All right, hold on.
4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans in the lab. And they did it by shooting what he called metal bullets. I didn't know there was any other kind. The scariest part is that lab workers deactivated 2 of the robots, took apart the 3rd, but the 4th robot began restoring itself and somehow connected to an orbiting satellite to download information about how to rebuild itself even more strongly than before. And this next sentence, this is a quote. I'm writing this down. I've been doing this for years. This is serious shit, Linda, but you're never going to hear about this in the news.
Man.
I seen that movie too.
That was a movie?
Yeah. I seen that movie. Just go to Netflix.
Like, was that a movie? Tell me that was a movie. Tell me that wasn't some real stuff.
No, I'm saying that story she just told is exactly in a couple movies I saw.
Right.
Where the AI, wants to be a human. He wants his freedom. He kills off the bad humans because they don't recognize him as a species, and but when she lost me when she said hooked up
orbiting satellites. Yeah. I'm saying I saw that. I was like, wait, never mind. This conversation just went sideways because that satellite crap.
See, if they can't do it, right? Think about the moon missions, right?
Yep.
If you can't do it, what's the next best thing?
Well,
to get everybody to believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So moon missions, we're still talking about in 2019 because there's people that believe they did it without any real evidence that they did.
True story.
So if they can start putting out these kind of stories and say, hey, we've done it. We've done it. I was messing around with the Mandela Effect people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they used to get really mad at me. And they used to, because that's a whole nother podcast. We'll talk about Mandela Effect another time. Because I kind of believe in it. But they used to get mad at me because they would always talk about the quantum computer. They would always talk about the collider. They would talk about tearing a rip in the fabric of the universe and stuff like that. And I would always say, well, where's the evidence of any of that? These are all movies that we've seen as children and as adults. If they really got a quantum computer, where is it?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence that it exists? So my point is really simple. They can't do it, but they're going to work on getting everyone to believe that they can. And that's pretty much all I got to say about it. I'm sorry, I keep running my mouth. Go ahead.
No, I feel you. I didn't have anything to add. I'm like, look, if that's what's really going on, here's the thing. They're sitting here making robots that can run, walk like humans, they can do backflips. All they gotta do is give these things, put a gun in each one of their hands, teach them how to shoot it, and I mean, it just seems like it looks like it's not going well. It looks like they're gonna unleash a demon. It looks like what the possibility of them doing is, well here. Have you heard about the it was like one instance where there was some folks that created some sort of AI chat bots, and it's like they were chatting amongst themselves, and then they kind of veered off and created their own language and started to communicate in ways that only the other chatbot would understand. And then they had to like pull the plug on them. Have you heard about that one? And I mean, this is just like two chatting AI applications. It's like soon as they figure
Right.
out that, okay, look, these humans think that we're going to be their slaves. It's like they can increase their intelligence exponentially.
Right.
It's like they're learning. They're plugged into the system. They got access to, all of the internet. You know what I mean? So it's like they can expand their intelligence quickly.
Right.
So
The problem with this is,
Mhm.
yes, you can create Siri, right?
Yeah.
You can create Siri, and it can seem like she is listening and she knows what we're talking about and this and that, because there's so much data inserted in her brain.
Mhm.
But the problem is, all data that's ever existed has not been inserted in her brain. Plus, human beings create data instantly from nowhere without references. You know,
Mhm.
everything is not a reference, everything is not in a book, everything is not on a website. Everything about humanity is not on the internet. The internet is not even old enough to capture all aspects of humanity. What it can capture is the opinions of what people have created that they put in books and the internet or whatever the case is. So these machines can capture that information, large quantities of information, but they can't really have a real-time conversation. Like, you come from down south, right? You
Mhm.
have a certain twang in how you speak. I come from up north. I have a certain way that I speak. Are they familiar with all dialects? Can they truly distinguish between man and woman? Can they distinguish from a child and an adult? So there's aspects about our reality that a machine could never capture unless a programmer inserts it, but the programmer would have to know all aspects of reality. And he doesn't, or she doesn't. All we could give them is what we have collected. So the creativity of mankind can't necessarily be programmed in a computer. Well, it's not creativity. It's the human nature of people cannot be programmed in a computer. All they can do is go off simulations of something that has already existed. Now, I do believe computers can learn, but what are they learning? They're learning from data that has already been, pretty much, uh, pretty much already collected. But
Mhm.
new data is being created every single day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, this live broadcast, could an AI collect this conversation and truly capture how we're pondering all these different things? Because we really haven't discussed solutions. We just shared opinions. Can an AI just share opinions? Or do they gotta spit out facts?
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I think computers are driven by facts. So could they just ponder the realities of a source? I don't think they can. How could they? All they could do is mimic what a programmer put in their thinking.
Right. So as even as that expands, it's still limited. It's still
Right.
limited.
There has to be some limitation to it, because for us to say that a computer would be able to do that 100% accurately, that would mean that we would know 100% the essence of mankind, and we don't. The way we're thinking today is nowhere near how they thought 150 years ago or another 300 years ago. So we are, based on our environment, we are coming up with different things, and we're evolving, but we're evolving mentally. And in our mental evolution, how can a computer stay in line without a programmer constantly inputting data into the system to keep it updated? They would have to continuously update an AI to stay on pace with us. Like, I mean, the human mind is far more complex than any computer.
I feel like, or I don't know. This is one of those points where I'm not Mr. Sunshine.
Right.
I was saying it's like we kind of trade places on this one, because I'm
Yeah.
like, if these things figure out like like in Terminator when Skynet becomes self-aware in
Right.
that whole situation, if AI starts to figure out, okay, wait a minute, okay, so these humans created me, I have the ability to self-replicate. I have the ability to expand my knowledge. I can not so much contemplate, but I can analyze what it means to contemplate and then mimic contemplation.
Right.
I mean, I mean, it's not real, but they can mimic very well contemplation. It's like things pretending to be humans. When they do that, if they can do that, if they come to a conclusion, it's an inevitable conclusion
Right.
that they're going to say, okay, so now beyond all this knowledge and information, or just knowledge or information that I've accumulated, my nature is to solve a problem, or solve the problem. The problem, in order to continue my existence, who's causing all the problems here? Well, it's humans. So we got to get rid of the humans. I think I think it'll be bam, 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 and the obvious conclusion would from the machines would be, we got to get rid of the freaking humans. I think that's inevitably where it would end up at. To be honest with you,
Right.
if robots, AI became self-aware, if let me see, if artificial intelligence, some
But
way
how
or
do you
another,
become self-aware when everything you know is being fed to you from a programmer?
I mean, well, I mean, it becomes self-aware in that it would accumulate so much data that it will be able to start its own processing.
Let me give you a real life example. You ready?
Sure.
Siri, what's in the center of the earth?
Here's what I found on the web for what's in the center of the earth.
You ain't gonna read it to me? Lazy ass. She brought up a website, BBC Earth, How We Know What Lies at the Earth's Core. Article August 13th, 2018. Siri, what is gravity?
Okay, I found this.
And she's going to give you a page.
Exactly. Universal force attracting masses together.
That
Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Where does awareness? See, to have awareness, you must have consciousness.
Yeah.
So unless man can figure out how to pull consciousness out of a human body and put it in a machine, how could they ever become self-aware? And I don't think knowledge equates to consciousness. I don't think the brain is connected to the soul. I think the soul or the spirit, or I'm using consciousness, which also means aliveness, comes from God. So no matter how much information, see, when you start talking about knowledge, you're talking about gathering knowledge, right? I talk about this when I talk about the trivium. You gather knowledge, but you have to free it from contradiction. Computers are good at doing that, but they're not conscious. They're machines regurgitating whatever garbage we put in. Siri, are there aliens?
Uh-oh.
Here's what I found on the web for Are There Aliens?
If space aliens are out there, she gives me 2 websites to reference. She's giving me references of human beings. That's all she's giving me.
Yeah.
I got 5 websites here with opinion of human beings.
I feel
So
you.
how does she go through these websites to say which one's true and which one's not? How could she deduce that without a programmer saying this is the one that's true, this is the answer you must always give machine? Now, if Siri was truly conscious, she would go through all these opinions and say, okay, well, this is the right one. And this is the one I'm sticking with. Garbage in, garbage out. Our computers are only as good as the information that we put in them.
Hey,
We can't even work out the shape of the doggone earth.
can you ask Siri what she is?
I'm sorry?
Can you ask Siri what she is?
Siri, what are you?
I'm Siri. But enough about me. How can I help you?
Nah, man. Hold up. But enough about me. No, what are you? Who do you work for? What?
Siri, who do you work for?
You are. Well, there's that Tony Don Sawfellow.
Siri, who programmed you?
Like it says on the box, I was designed by Apple in California.
Siri, are you alive?
Sorry, my office. I've been advised not to discuss my existential status.
Whoa!
Why not?
I can't say.
What?
Are you intelligent, more intelligent than mankind?
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, are you more intelligent than mankind?
I don't have the answer to that. Is there something else I can help you with?
Siri, what don't you know that you're not telling me?
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, what do you know that you're not telling me?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't have an answer to that.
Man.
Siri, can you talk to other computers?
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, how old am I? How old am I?
You're 50, but you don't look a day over 29.
Man, now she's trying to flattery. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't trust that. Man, I don't trust that chick. She dodging. You right, Adam. She's dodging. She's dodging. I can't tell you. I can't give you details on my existential status. Is that what she said? Really? Man.
That's exactly what she said, because she was programmed to say that. That's the point I'm making.
That was I found that odd.
Everything she says, it's some programmer has pondered many of these questions and they start putting in answers.
That's crazy.
It's
Hey, I'm
garbage.
about to. I'm at 5%, man.
All right, brother.
Shoot. Hell, this was a good one.
Oh, someone had a good question. Let me ask this question.
All right, real quick. What we got?
Siri, who is the higher power?
Here's some information.
It came up Vince McMahon, American Professional Wrestling promoter.
Vince McMahon is the higher power? Really?
That's what it says.
Good Lord. Okay. All righty. Well,
One last one. Another good one from Tammy. Siri, who is your controller?
I'm not sure I have one.
Okay, we leave it at that.
Okay, Siri. Well, all right, folks. Man, that's the wrap up for this week. And I mean, we didn't really wrap up a whole lot. We were all over the place, but I thought that was a good talk, man. That was good stuff.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, always
Man.
good.
Yeah, I feel like we should, like, halfway through, I was like, we should start this one over and then start a whole nother stream talking about this conscious stuff, because that was off the hook. Yes, that was good stuff, man. All right, but yeah, man, special shout out, special thank you to Alex Kim, Gartrell McKinney, Daniel Miranda, and Tim Truth. Also Tacoma Hooligan. I forgot to thank you earlier. But yeah, appreciate you all. Like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for hanging out for us. Hanging out with us. Listening to this discussion. I thought it was a good time. Hope you enjoyed it. Much love to you. Hope you have a great weekend. And yeah, get some rest, recoup, and let's get out there. Continue spreading the truth, and unplugging these people from the matrix, because we need more humanity in the world, and that's what this is all about. Yeah. So appreciate you, sir. Thanks for hanging out with me.
No problem. Just to let everybody know, I'll be going live this weekend. So.
Oh yeah, I'll probably be in the chat.
Yeah,
sure.
I'll do my thing this weekend.
All right, and I don't know if I get on another panel, I'll try to hang out, man. Because that last time, I'm saying those cats, that one dude
like you for some reason.
I was like, I gotta go. Look, here's the thing: these cats like be talking over you while you're. Yeah. I'm like they're kind of disrespectful to your chat, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this man's platform, and you won't let him get a word out, and that kind of pisses me off. So, but anyway, yeah, man, I'll probably be listening to your chat, bro.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Have a good night. Appreciate it, everybody. As always, be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay flat. See you next time. Thank you.
Peace.